I wonder what this cat wants. You hungry? Well, you hungry? Yeah, puss. They get heavier, cat. It's not funny, you know that. Spoiled too much. You spoiled too much, cat. I think you need to stop eating. Hi, the cat. Should be in this thing, not on it. Why is it on it for? You should be in it, huh? Yeah, you shake your slag everywhere. Oh, nice and warm. So warm and comfy. Oh, all I want to do is bloody eat all day. Spoiled little cat. G'day viewers, I got the head unit out of that Mitsubishi van, that red van I did some videos on. Surprisingly had its own separate little wiring loom, so I separated that and left it aside so I can locate it for future reference. For future reference, or wire another head unit in there if I wanted to. These Mitsubishi head units had an optional cassette deck with them, with some models of those vans. The luxurious, or the bus, the minivan models would have had at least, I think, a 6-seater, or the small bus versions of that van. These had a not so much more speakers, but they had a cassette player deck underneath it, which would have plugged into here. This was just a little plug that this one here had, because this was just a radio this particular model van used, so they only just use radio on this model. It's got the external auxiliary power there, which runs the optional accessory, so it probably would have went to the cassette deck. It's not like a DIN socket. So yeah, just located the ground, left channel and right channel positive. Soldered it to that. That goes to my iPod. This thing works quite well with the auxiliary input. That's just the shorting pin. You see, it goes in that way. So these 2 pins here on the end, on the side. So you shoot over. This one here is your radio signal, comes out and feeds into here, which is your amplifier. So it grounds out to turn the radio on. So it's just a radio only. But when you take this out, it switches to amplifier or auxiliary input. And I can use this as an aux with an aux input. So even this here, they were iPod ready. Regional speakers, 4 ohm, 5 watt. Works quite well. Although I don't think these are actually stereo though, because the way this works, you have the bass and the low frequencies on the one channel and the higher frequencies on the other channel. So it's probably a mono, but it's just been artificial mock-up stereo, so to speak, even though it does actually get stereo FM signal. Even with the auxiliary input, it performs the same. I get high frequency on one channel as well as the stereo as well. So it's kind of a woofer tweeter arrangement, what they've done there. It's interesting how these are set up back then. This is from the 1988, this one. It's a model J955. These types of the push buttons, these cheaters should have a nice set of inductors in there. Very interesting how these are arranged, these older types of head units. There's where the amplifier chip is, bolted on there. Okay, viewers, well, this battery is a little bit weak and underrated for this size engine. 600 cold cranking amp. For cold starting, I at least recommend a 900 cold cranking amp, because this barely starts this thing at that capacity. It's just done one too many cold starts over the years, and it's battery's finally cranking this thing over so slowly. It's just not yeah, might as well just get a new battery. So let's see if it currently on the charger, so the battery's on its last legs. It's been charging all night. Let's see if this actually starts cold. See if this battery's actually improved. Snap this on here. Okay, viewers, well, let's see if this thing cold starts. Okay, it's not quite as cold as I thought it was going to be. Let's see how it starts. Normally the first thing in the morning, it's just bloody sits there cranking like an old truck. Let's do it. See if the battery goes. There. The alternator light comes on a little bit. I might have to service the alternator, I think. It's only a little 33 amp, that one. Yeah. 14 volt 33 amps, a stock alternator. They're not very, it's not a very high rated amp hour alternator. With the lights and everything on at night, it barely keeps up. It actually started quite good actually. That battery might still have a little bit of life left in it. But as soon as I take the charger off, I come again tomorrow morning, that battery probably would have be weak again. It's sulfated over the years. It's only a bloody 600 kind of cranking amp. That's a minimum requirement for a tractor. It wasn't as quite as slow and cranky as I thought it was going to be, but it's not as cold as I thought. Yeah, she's all fully charged. Hold on. Also with this, wired with it, little VFD clock. Very interesting, these little things. Let's pull it apart and see what it's like inside. Hopefully there's no, let's check everything, make sure everything's safe and sound in there. Been's parked in the sun over the years. Been like a bloody oven in there, so I give the ESR meter and those caps in there, give them a check, make sure they're all still good. Even though it does actually still work quite well. It's good to know how healthy they still are. There's the inside of the unit, there's the buttons there. Little diffuser. Take the wiring connector off, so we'll not say cumbersome. Get the part, it's a GK brand. Might get the one on the old Corolla, get that clock there, that's an analog version. It's a silicone motor type arrangement. I've got to get that going, that'd be a nice one to fix up. A 100 ohm resistor there, 2 watt. The VFD, or a vacuum fluorescent display. Diode there, resistor, another diode, and 2 electrolytics. 16 volt 47 and a 50 volt 0.22, and the quartz crystal behind there. They are Nippon Chemicon KMA series, rated to 105 degrees Celsius. There's a high temperature rated caps, this might be okay then. Can't see what make the VFD, I think it's a Futaba VFD. They're the company that made these, specialise in them anyway. Anyway, let's power this thing up. One of the bloody clips broke off, unfortunately. Okay, viewers, well, I forgot to put a thing into the case completely. Here's the back of it, we've got a little chip there with all the numbers scratched off it. Why did I do that? Try and polish it. Yeah, they don't want us knowing their secrets. They don't want us fixing it and putting them out of business. But the solderings are minimal. It's not cracked, it's just minimal solder. That's what actually drives a vacuum fluorescent display. Some surface mount resistors and capacitors on here. For the late 1980s here, it's pretty advanced. Shame they did that. I want to be just interesting to know just what the specs of that chip are. But all I know, it's a driver for that VFD. That's all I can say. Let's power this thing up. Okay, it's all connected up. Easy to set this thing. It's 4 o'clock. One of the wires, the red wire came undone there. Now it's gone dim. So one's an accessory. Live all the time, and when you turn the ignition on or the accessory on, this shows up. Pretty simple little device. Still makes a nice little clock though. Very cool. Just leave it like that as a little clock for your room. Very cool. I might get the one out of the Corolla. I might as well fix that one up because those old ones are getting kind of hard to find now. And get that going. Have a look inside one of those types of automotive clocks. Yours here's the other Corolla one. This is a G-Co made in Japan. Here's this, just a more modern version of the same thing. Digital version. Here's the analog version. This one's about 10 years older. So 1976 era. Very cool, these older clocks. Love that styling they used. Pull this fascia off and have a look at the insides. Make sure the motor's not jammed up. There's your fast and slow calibration to get the clock in perfect sync with time. Little clock here for the dash light. Seems to be intact. Little bayonet cap there. You can see in there. Looks quite interesting inside there. Let's open this thing up and get it freed up, and hopefully we'll get it going. All brass in there, all brass drivetrain. You can see some wear down there. All that brass wear from this thing. This clock's done some work. The gears inside are all plastic though. So if I can carefully just give it a little tweak. Yeah, it's jammed up. If I can get to that synchro mode, I'll be able to free this thing up and get it going again. I wonder if I can get some this thing inside there. There's brass all in there. The main drivetrain's all brass in there. I might just put a bit of silicone spray in it. You can't really pull this thing apart too much without destroying it. You have to pull those little hands off and everything. It's all on little rubber stoppers too, so it stops the vibration. Let's give this thing a bit of a lube up and see if it frees up. I can hear it toast at a certain point and it stops. Interesting. Must need more silicone spray. The light's not working. Put it in there. It's definitely not pulse driven, that's for sure. There's a DC synchro motor in there. Yeah, I reckon the grease in there has gone hard because I was working for a couple of years. Then all of a sudden it just stopped. So the sun and the hot days, cooked the grease and turned it to gum. I reckon it's jammed half the escapement up, so it's not winding the escapement up. So I'll have to dive into this further, I think. There's a nice little clock there. There's a coupling in there you press to adjust it. Keep turning it, I suppose. Give it a free up. There must be another adjustment in there. But yeah, interesting stuff. Anyway, that's enough for now. Thanks for watching.